I think I finally figured out how to run a one-person company that can scale past $1 million a year, leveraging nothing but AI agents to manage the entire business. And in this video, I want to do a deep dive into the new AI infrastructure, the architecture that makes this finally possible. I'm sure if you guys are like me, have been looking around since 2023, trying to figure out how can I leverage AI to print money, not build a business that's annoying and sucks up all the profits, all the margins, just makes your life a living hell. But no, actually to enter a model where everything is leveraged and you can just be creative and you can just deliver so much value to your clients and not have your life suck more the bigger you get. For me, the way I want to start this walkthrough is by walking you through everything we had to realize before we built this, okay? And for context, if you don't know anything about me, my name is Serge Gatari. I run client acquisition.io. I've been able to generate over $15 million in the last 3.5 years. And now we're the founder of trycookie.ai, which is essentially an AI infrastructure operating system that we built so we can give our partners who are running agencies, consulting businesses, info product businesses, the ability to operate their entire business with an AI operating system that helps them make more money, have more margins, and have more peace and freedom and fun while doing it. The question we asked ourselves before arriving to this new architecture, which is, in my opinion, is the most important question you can ask yourself, is that how come AI is advancing faster than any technology we've ever seen before, but us humans who have access to something like Claude from Anthropic or GPT, which just released their new models, which is infinitely cheaper, regardless of how good Claude is, how come you can't just go there and have it go find your clients, find your business idea, put together the assets, then help you sell and onboard clients, and then help you fulfill? How come you still can't do that? Well, in order for us to find an answer to what is a true bottleneck, we had to ask ourselves, how does it work in a company that an organization of people can just go on to make a lot of money and not have the founder be the bottleneck? Because technically what you need to do, if you're going to run a one-person company that makes millions and millions of dollars a year, maybe even per month, you need to be able to replicate the same infrastructure as a real organization made up of humans. So let me walk you guys through how we're thinking through it. So first things first, the reason why an organization works is because people have skills. Let's say I run a growth consulting firm, and in order for me to run my business, I needed people who are good at media buying. I needed people who are good at creative. I don't edit my own videos. I need someone to understand YouTube. I need someone to understand sales, management, KPIs. I need someone to build the systems, the CRM, the calendars, availabilities of slots, all these things, all the way to a growth consultant who understands everything that's happening in all the client campaigns so that he can put together strategy, and a lot more people. Think of finance, think of all that good stuff. Now, the reason why you wouldn't hire one person to do all these things is because no one person can be amazing at media buying and still be amazing at creative and still be amazing at sales and still be amazing at systems and still be amazing at research and taking in all this data. Even if one person could be good and understand all these functions, they're not going to have enough time in a day to actually do the work for your business or for your clients. So you have to hire more people the bigger your company gets. So the more a company grows, the more talent you need who have specific focus on specific skills. But we realized that skills is actually not a bottleneck, because you can build skills on Claude or whatever. We realize that the biggest constraint today of AI is context. And the way that I like to explain this is through this mental model. I've started realizing that a company is just a system that manages communication. And keep following, I'll break this down. Think of it. A media buyer today doesn't necessarily do media buying per se. What they do is they hold the context about the client's business, who they go after, what ads worked, what is the current funnel look like, what are the current metrics. They hold that context in their mind, okay? And then they have context around the skills on how they actually deliver value, right? Or how they would get someone to a desired outcome. And what they do is they go do their work, and then they go and communicate with maybe the creative person. And then the creative person holds context about that business and then understands how to go do the work, but also holds context of what creative process was followed to create the content, the ads that generated results. Then this person is going to go back to marketing and then communicate whatever insights was discovered from previous trial or previous campaign. And then marketing is going to communicate with sales. And then sales is going to have someone who understand what happened and can use that data to then decide on, hey, here's what we should do. Here's a new focus. Let's go and execute on it. And then systems or sales is going to communicate with the context they have, is is going to tell the systems department, hey guys, we probably need to pivot the system. We need to close the slots. Instead of having calendars open for 5 days, we need to have it open for 2 days because we have this new data point that tells us that people no-show if the calendar is open too far into the future, right? Or sales is going to realize why people are buying, and then they're going to go back to marketing and say, hey guys, we need more of these type of leads. So if you think about it, the bottleneck isn't that you can't go ask AI, oh, what is this latest sales tactic to have a higher show rate? It's not that you can't go ask AI, hey, how do you close deals? That knowledge already exists somewhere on the internet or in these AI models already. What doesn't exist is the context about your specific business, about your specific client situation. It lives in systems of records. It lives in things like CRMs. It lives in places like Slack channels. It lives in places like Discord. This is where we manage our clients. So all the truth that can be leveraged to build and scale and generate results for my clients don't actually live in general knowledge online. They live in their CRM, in their ad account, in Slack, in Discord. So for me to be able to run a company that is fully agentic, I had to solve this context problem. I had to figure out an architecture where I can connect hundreds of clients' context, and I'll show you guys, all in one system like this. I want to be able to see their conversation. If I want to build an AI setter, I want to be able to have it here. I want to have their calendars. I want to be able to have their funnels. I want to be able to have their content metrics. I want to be able to have their ad metrics. Every single thing that is happening in someone's business, I want to be able to see the truth about everything. And every single day that we're communicating with them, whether we're having calls, whether I'm looking at their Fathom on their sales calls, in the chats happening on Discord, what they're saying, I need an agent that constantly feeds and updates the context about our client's business automatically without me having to lift a finger or without me having to need a CSM or a media buyer or a sales representative. I just want to have all the context so that a client can just communicate and say, hey, Serge, I need new ads or I need a new campaign. And I'm like, okay, say less. I can't tell you how much of a game changer it is to be able to have hundreds and hundreds of clients' context live in one AI operating system that gets constantly updated without you having to lift a finger. You can just cook for all clients without you having to go in Claude and then having to copy paste, hey, here's my latest sales call. Here's what we should do. Right? My entire business is literally managed in one place. When my team finishes taking sales calls, agents that I've trained on the best sales process goes and audits their call and says, hey guys, this is where you messed up. This is what you should do to fix it. And in marketing, every single morning, I get an update on what are the top YouTube videos that I can post or reels that can actually help me stand out. What are the outliers currently on YouTube? Packaging, ideas, script, hooks, every single thing that I need content-wise can essentially be scheduled and be done all day, every day. And what's cool about this is that it has all the context of what's happening in my business. It can take all the feedback from client success, systems, marketing, and actually create a strategy around content that actually helps me get better results because it's connected to all the data sources. Now, my goal with this first video is not to overwhelm you guys with everything that you can do on this new infrastructure, but what I'd like to show you guys is how I go about helping clients scale. So when I onboard a new client, what I need to do is I literally go into this channel, research. We had a client who was going into the daycare market. We had another client who was launching an offer in the lending market. So I essentially have insights into those markets so I can essentially put together a strategy for them to be able to help them scale. And let me walk you through how it goes. So I tag the chief of staff and I say, hey, can you guys go into this market? Let me know what's happening in the childcare, daycare centers and see if anyone is currently ripping. And then the agents go on, find what's currently working in the daycare space, finds me this competitor, right? Scale daycares. I'm like, okay, perfect. Then all I have to do is take that name, go into the browser, give it to this agent that has access to the browser and say, hey, find me everything that they're currently doing, audit their funnel, audit their offers, audit their ads, and just help me replicate it for my client. And what it does is really simple. It goes ahead and audits every single thing about the client. And all I had to ask it was, hey, put everything into a doc so I know how to replicate everything. And then it created a Google Doc because it has access to a scale to create Google Docs. It built me everything that I needed to do to replicate the infrastructure for this client. And what I decided to do was, because the operating system has access to the context about our client, whose name is Victor Rodriguez, I asked it, since you have access to Victor Rodriguez context, why don't you actually go ahead and build it? Because what am I going to do with a Google Doc, right? I'm not going to go ahead and prompt one thing at a time. I don't want to do that, right? So what it did is really simple. It went and read everything about our client's context. It found his business name. It found all the data, all the context that we have about him as a client, and simply went ahead and built everything. So Every time that the agents are done cooking, they essentially release all their assets into a feed. We wanted to build a feed because people are addicted to scrolling. So, hey, as the agents in your company are shipping assets, just go and scroll. Some of them will post stories to tell you what they've done, but it ended up building these image ads, static ads that I can essentially launch really fast. It went ahead and wrote the video ad scripts so that I can send to a client so he can actually go ahead and record them. And it went ahead and built the landing page modeling after what's currently working, since it already had access to what competitors are already doing. And I didn't have to prompt a single thing about this funnel. Of course, I have to audit it and make sure that everything is good. But the idea here is I can go from research into a market that I know nothing about to building all the assets for a client, and maybe coming in here and saying, hey, go ahead and launch the client campaign. Using the browser agent, I can just get the agent to essentially ship everything on the ad account of a client. And the same agent can manage the campaign to success without ever needing me to click a single button, right? This is what we believe is the future. It's you don't necessarily need an app that you use as a tool. You need an operating system where you can communicate with clients, as you guys can see here. All the clients that we have, their channels are synced. You can sync it with Slack or Discord, so you can keep communicating with your clients on Discord or Slack, but you can have everything come back to here so that you can essentially communicate with your agents, or your agents can communicate with your clients. But anytime you need new insights, new research to help your clients, so let's say we have a client who wanted to go into the dental market, I don't have to go in the ad library and try to audit everything. We're currently doing a webinar for a client who has over 100,000 followers on Instagram. She helps other women build their personal brands. And the workflow that I personally used, with this AI operating system to help her was, step one, I wanted to understand who's currently targeting women, who's doing a webinar funnel. And I just got the agent to go, hey, go find me everything you can about Shelby and her funnel. She's been able to scale it past $5 million a month, I believe. And I wanted to get this AI operating system to understand someone who had already scaled this at scale. Show me the ads, show me the funnels, show me the messaging, show me how the hooks look like, her content, organic, every single thing, and put together a playbook around how to replicate this, but have it be more aligned with our client's brand. Since she's selling personal brand, Shelby is selling more of an opportunity. I wanted it in a way that I don't have to spend hours trying to funnel hack or understand how she's making money, so that I can help our clients make infinitely more money, right? And this is the logic here. It's you leverage AI to go find the truth. And once you found the truth, get AI to rebuild everything for your client. And of course, you can productize your knowledge in the AI operating system. So if you want to build VSLs, if you want to manage ads, if you want to manage a sales team, you can put all your knowledge, every single SOP into this operating system and have it manage your clients to success as a team that would normally cost you $1 million a year. Or like I had, $250,000 a year in payroll can essentially be put into one system and have it cook. If you've been looking for a system and a playbook that can finally allow you to print money with AI, and whether that be, by the way, with a new business and you want to go into a new market and be able to solve business problems with agents, or you already have a business and you can see how this AI operating system can essentially help you scale, get you more clients, help you fulfill for more clients without having to spend more money on people, then I'd be happy to speak with you and see what you're currently doing and lay out the playbook, lay out our operating system, and get you onboarded. Of course, we have a specific playbook and a specific integration process, but if you're interested to cook, click the link below, apply. I'd be happy to speak with you on a one-on-one session. Take care.